The Vidian Hivemind shattered the moment it encountered Wayne Ward's thoughts. For eons, this vast alien intelligence had spread across galaxies, assimilating countless civilizations into its collective consciousness. But now, as it detected an anomalous signal from Earth, the Hivemind faced its greatest challenge: human individuality. Wayne Ward, a brilliant neuroscientist, sat in his lab, unaware that his unique brainwaves were about to change the course of galactic history. His research into the intricacies of human cognition had inadvertently created patterns of individual thought previously unknown to the Vidian collective. These patterns rippled across space, catching the attention of the Hivemind and disturbing its carefully maintained equilibrium. Alarmed by this unprecedented occurrence, the Vidian Hivemind dispatched a scouting vessel to investigate the source of the anomaly. As the alien ship entered Earth's solar system, global defense systems lit up like a Christmas tree. Sirens blared in military installations worldwide, triggering a planet-wide alert that humanity was no longer alone. In a whirlwind of activity, government agents extracted Wayne from his research facility. One moment he was analyzing brain scans, the next he found himself whisked away in a black SUV, heading towards a secure military bunker. There, surrounded by stern-faced officials and blinking monitors, Wayne learned of the impending alien arrival and his potential role in the encounter. Aboard the Vidian ship, an entity known as Draco served as the Hivemind's primary interface for this mission. As the vessel approached Earth, Draco experienced something it had never encountered before: disruptive thought patterns. The alien's form flickered and wavered, a visual representation of the Hivemind's instability when exposed to human cognition. The Vidian ship, a sleek construct of impossible geometries and pulsing energy fields, landed in a remote area. Its advanced cloaking technology allowed it to evade immediate military response, buying precious time for first contact. A team of human specialists, led by the bewildered but determined Wayne Ward, assembled quickly to meet the alien visitors. As Wayne's team approached the landing site, the air crackled with tension. The scientists' unique brainwaves began to cause visible distortions in the Vidian ship's energy field, creating a spectacular light show that danced across the sky. The vessel's smooth surface rippled like water, responding to the mere presence of Wayne's individual thoughts. Draco emerged from the ship, its form a constantly shifting mass of light and shadow. The alien entity struggled to maintain cohesion, its very essence challenged by the concept of individual identity emanating from Wayne. The Hivemind, acting through Draco, attempted to assimilate Wayne's consciousness, a process that had worked flawlessly on countless other species. But this time, something went terribly wrong for the Vidians. Instead of absorbing Wayne's mind, the Hivemind began to fracture. Draco became the focal point of this disruption, its form destabilizing further as it grappled with the alien concept of personal identity. The collective consciousness that had spanned galaxies now faced an existential crisis, all because of one human's unique way of thinking. Recognizing the effect his presence was having, Wayne stepped forward to directly confront Draco. This bold action intensified the breakdown of the Hivemind's control over its scout. As Wayne stood face to face with the alien entity, the fate of both species hung in the balance. The potential for either devastating conflict or revolutionary understanding loomed large as human individuality clashed with alien collective consciousness. In this moment, humanity's greatest strength, its capacity for individual thought, became the key to its survival and potential dominance in the galactic stage. The encounter that followed would determine whether Earth would fall to the Vidian Hivemind or if human consciousness would shatter the aliens' collective and usher in a new era of galactic diversity. As Wayne stood face to face with Draco, the air crackled with tension. Suddenly, a blinding pulse of energy erupted from the Vidian ship, washing over the landing site in a wave of electromagnetic disruption. Smartphones went dark, radios fell silent, and the military's high-tech equipment flickered and died. In the ensuing chaos, Wayne's unique brainwaves intensified, their effect on Draco magnified by the energy surge. The alien entity's form began to fracture, splitting into dozens of smaller glowing fragments that scattered across the area like a swarm of fireflies. Major John Hawkins, his composure barely masking his alarm, barked orders to his team. "Contain those things, don't let them escape the perimeter." As the soldiers moved to corral the alien fragments, an unexpected phenomenon occurred. Private First Class Sarah Chen reached out to intercept one of the glowing entities, and upon contact, her body went rigid. Her eyes widened and she gasped, I can see Proxima Centauri. There's a colony, millions of minds." Similar scenes unfolded across the landing site. Corporal Rodriguez touched a fragment and suddenly began rattling off complex mathematical equations. Sergeant Williams made contact and froze, his face a mask of wonder as he experienced the birth of a star. Wayne observed the unfolding chaos with a mixture of fascination and concern. His scientific curiosity warred with his sense of caution. Major Hawkins approached him, his face grim. "Dr. Ward, we need to contain this situation immediately. These things are compromising my men." Wayne shook his head. "Major, this is an unprecedented opportunity for understanding. We can't just—" His words were cut short as a larger Vidian fragment pulsed nearby, its glow intensifying. Without hesitation, Wayne stepped towards it. "Ward, stand down!" Hawkins shouted, but Wayne had already made contact with the alien mass. The moment Wayne's fingers touched the fragment, his mind exploded with information. Vast star maps unfurled in his thoughts, the history of 1,000,000 worlds cascaded through his consciousness, and the intricate workings of Vidian technology bloomed in his understanding. Amid this torrent of knowledge, Wayne sensed something else, a spark of individuality forming within the fragment. As the transfer of information continued, this spark grew, coalescing into a distinct consciousness. "I am," a voice echoed in Wayne's mind. "I am Zara." Wayne gasped, breaking contact with the fragment. The newly formed entity, Zara, hovered before him, its glow pulsing with a rhythm that seemed almost fearful. "Protection!" Zara's thoughts reached out to Wayne. "The others, they come. They will try to reabsorb. Help me." Before Wayne could respond, a disturbance near the Vidian ship caught everyone's attention. The scattered fragments were coalescing, drawn together by some unseen force. They merged into a larger entity, but it was clear that this being was diminished, lacking the coherence and power of the original Draco. This new entity, its form unstable and flickering, retreated into the ship, the vessel's entrance sealed shut with a resonant hum. Major Hawkins wasted no time. He grabbed his radio, forgetting for a moment that it was non-functional due to the electromagnetic pulse. Cursing, he turned to his second-in-command. "Lieutenant, get to the command vehicle. Contact HQ. Inform them we have a potential global threat and request immediate strike authorization." Wayne, still reeling from his mind-melding experience, stepped forward. "Major, wait. This is a first contact situation. We can't just attack them." Hawkins rounded on Wayne, his patience clearly wearing thin. "Doctor, these aliens have incapacitated half my team and possess technology far beyond ours. They're a clear and present danger." "But they're vulnerable now," Wayne argued. "The Hivemind has fractured. This is our chance for peaceful communication, for an exchange of knowledge that could advance humanity by centuries." As the two men faced off, Dr. Elena Rodriguez approached, her face pale but her eyes bright with excitement. "Major Doctor, you need to see this," she said, gesturing to a tablet she'd managed to reboot. The screen showed brain scans of the soldiers who had interacted with the Vidian fragments. "These readings are unlike anything I've ever seen," Elena explained. "The alien contact has triggered significant changes in neural activity. It's as if their brains are rewiring themselves." Before anyone could process this new information, a shrill alarm cut through the air. In the distance, a military radar installation had come back online, its dish spinning frantically. A young technician ran up to Major Hawkins, out of breath. "Sir, we've detected multiple objects entering Earth's atmosphere, size and velocity consistent with the original Vidian ship." The implications hit everyone simultaneously. The Vidian Hivemind had sent reinforcements. Wayne felt Zara's presence intensify beside him, the alien entity's fear palpable. He turned to Major Hawkins, his voice urgent. "Major, we need to make a decision now. If we attack, we risk interstellar war. But if we can communicate, if we can show them the value of individuality..." Hawkins looked from Wayne to the Vidian ship, then to the sky where the new threats were approaching. The weight of the entire world seemed to rest on his shoulders as he considered their options. Dr. Rodriguez interjected, her voice filled with both excitement and trepidation. "The changes in our people, the fragmentation of the hive mind, this could be the beginning of something monumental, not just for Earth, but for the entire galaxy." As tensions rose and time ticked away, the future of human-Vidian relations hung in the balance. Wayne stood at the center of it all, the knowledge of 1,000,000 worlds in his mind, an individual Vidian at his side, and the fate of 2 civilizations in his hands. The next move would determine whether humanity faced extinction or ascended to the stars. Stars, as a spacefaring civilization, the choice Wayne made in that moment would ripple across the cosmos for millennia to come. Wayne locked eyes with Major Hawkins, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "Major, we need to communicate with them. Trust me on this." Hawkins's teeth clenched, his military training warring with the unprecedented nature of the situation. After a tense moment, he gave a curt nod. "You've got 5 minutes, Doctor. Make them count." As if in response to this decision, the air around them began to crackle with energy. The Vidian ship's surface rippled more violently, and a shrill alarm pierced the air. The young technician, who had reported the incoming objects earlier, rushed back, his face pale. "Sir, multiple objects entering Earth's atmosphere. They're everywhere." Wayne felt Zara's presence intensify beside him, a mixture of fear and commitment emanating from the individualized Vidian fragment. He turned to Dr. Elena Rodriguez, who was still studying her tablet with intense focus. "Elena, we need to act fast. Can you help us modify the global satellite network?" Elena looked up, her eyes wide with realization. "To broadcast your brainwave patterns, it's possible, but..." She was cut off by a deafening roar. The grounded Vidian ship suddenly came to life, its impossible geometry shifting and realigning. Major Hawkins, seeing this as a threat, made a split-second decision. "All units, open fire," he bellowed. The air filled with the sound of gunfire and explosions as Earth's military unleashed its arsenal on the alien vessel. Bullets ricocheted off an invisible barrier, and missiles exploded harmlessly against the ship's shields. Wayne watched in horror as the human attack proved utterly ineffective. Then, with a sound like reality tearing, the Vidian ship responded. Beams of energy lanced out, vaporizing several military vehicles and leaving smoking craters in the earth. Soldiers scrambled for cover as the alien technology demonstrated its devastating superiority. In the chaos, Wayne grabbed Elena's arm. "We need to move, now!" They sprinted towards a mobile command center, Zara's glowing form keeping pace beside them. As they ran, the sky lit up with streaks of light, the Vidian reinforcements entering the atmosphere at multiple points around the globe. Inside the command center, Elena quickly accessed the satellite control systems. Her fingers flew over the keyboard as she worked to reconfigure the network. Wayne placed a hand on Zara's glowing form, allowing the alien consciousness to interface with his mind. Together, they began to formulate the complex signal that would carry their combined consciousness across the planet. Outside, the situation deteriorated rapidly. Fighter jets screamed overhead, engaging the incoming Vidian ships in Earth's atmosphere. The night sky became a canvas of destruction, punctuated by explosions and falling debris. On the ground, panicked civilians fled as military forces mobilized in every major city. Elena's voice cut through Wayne's concentration. "It's ready. But Wayne, we need to consider the consequences. This could affect every person on the planet." Wayne nodded grimly. "We don't have a choice. It's this or watch our world burn." With a deep breath, Elena activated the modified satellite network. A wave of invisible energy surged across the globe, carrying Wayne's unique brainwave patterns and Zara's individualized consciousness. The effect was immediate and dramatic. In the sky above, Vidian ships began to falter. Some plummeted to Earth, while others drifted aimlessly. The attacking forces, once a unified hive mind, now found themselves fragmented and confused. But the consequences weren't limited to the alien invaders. Across the planet, millions of humans suddenly staggered as their minds were flooded with alien memories and enhanced cognitive abilities. In New York, a stockbroker suddenly understood the economic systems of 1,000 worlds. In rural China, a farmer glimpsed the life cycle of stars. The line between human and Vidian consciousness began to blur in a way no one had anticipated. Back at the landing site, the grounded Vidian ship shuddered. Its surface rippled like water, and from within emerged a swirling mass of energy and matter. Nexus, the remnant of the original hive mind, now twisted and desperate. Nexus began to absorb everything around it: grass, rocks, even the bodies of fallen soldiers. It grew larger, its form becoming more monstrous with each passing second. Major Hawkins ordered his remaining forces to attack, but bullets and explosives passed harmlessly through Nexus's semi-corporeal form. Wayne watched in horror as Nexus advanced, its intentions clear. It sought to reabsorb Zara and re-establish the hive mind. He placed himself between the advancing entity and Zara's glowing form, his mind racing for a solution. Suddenly, Wayne felt a surge of mental energy. The soldiers who had touched the Vidian fragments earlier were now linked, their enhanced minds working in concert. Led by Private Chen, they formed a circle around Wayne, Zara, and Elena. "We can feel them," Chen said, her voice distant. "The others, all around the world. Humans and Vidians, their minds mixing, creating something new." Wayne realized the truth of her words. The broadcast hadn't just disrupted the Vidian hive mind, it had initiated a merging of human and alien consciousness on a global scale. But what did this mean for the future of both species? As Nexus loomed closer, Wayne knew that the next few moments would determine the fate of not just Earth, but of two civilizations on the brink of either destruction or a new, uncharted evolution. The air crackled with possibility, and in that charged moment, Wayne prepared to make a decision that would echo across the stars. Cosmos for generations to come. As Wayne made his decision, the world around him erupted into chaos. The global broadcast of his and Zara's combined consciousness rippled across the planet, its effects immediate and far-reaching. The invading Vidian ships, once a coordinated force, began to falter and drift aimlessly in the sky. Some plummeted to Earth, leaving trails of fire in their wake, while others hovered uncertainly, their occupants grappling with newfound individuality. On the ground, the situation was no less tumultuous. Soldiers and civilians alike staggered, clutching their heads, as their minds were flooded with alien memories and enhanced cognitive abilities. Private Chen, who had been at the forefront of the mental link with the Vidian fragments, fell to her knees, her eyes wide with shock. It's everywhere," she gasped, her voice trembling. "I can feel them all. Humans, Vidians, everything's mixing, changing." Major Hawkins, who had been barking orders just moments ago, suddenly went silent, his face contorted in confusion as flashes of alien worlds and incomprehensible technologies flitted through his mind. He looked at Wayne, his expression a mix of anger and bewilderment. "What have you done, Doctor?" he demanded, his voice hoarse. Before Wayne could respond, Dr. Elena Rodriguez grabbed his arm, her face pale with realization. "Wayne, we need to assess the situation quickly. The consequences of our action, they're far beyond what we anticipated." As if to underscore her words, the ground began to shake. The team turned to see Nexus, the remnant of the original hive mind, growing at an alarming rate. It absorbed everything in its path: vegetation, rocks, even the bodies of fallen soldiers. Its form twisted and writhed, becoming more monstrous with each passing second. "We need to contain it," Major Hawkins shouted, snapping back into action despite the alien thoughts invading his mind. He raised his radio to call for reinforcements, but the device crackled with static, rendered useless by the electromagnetic disturbances. Wayne watched in horror as Nexus advanced, its intentions clear. It sought to reabsorb Zara and re-establish the Hivemind. He placed himself protectively in front of Zara's glowing form, his mind racing for a solution. "So we can't fight it conventionally," Wayne said, his voice steady despite the fear coursing through him. "We need to confront it directly. Our unique combination of human individuality and Vidian collective knowledge might be the key to controlling it." Dr. Rodriguez nodded, her scientific curiosity overriding her fear. "You're right. If we can interface with Nexus, we might be able to guide its evolution, perhaps even stabilize it." Major Hawkins, still struggling with the flood of alien memories, looked at them incredulously. "You want to walk right into that thing? That's suicide." But Wayne had already made up his mind. He turned to Zara, whose glowing form pulsed with a mix of fear and willpower. "Are you with me?" he asked. Zara's response came as a wave of affirmation in Wayne's mind. Together, they began to move towards the looming form of Nexus. As they approached, the air crackled with energy. Tendrils of semi-corporeal matter reached out towards them, and Wayne felt a pull on his consciousness. He glanced back to see Dr. Rodriguez following close behind, her tablet clutched tightly to her chest as she recorded data even in this extreme situation. The moment they made contact with Nexus, Wayne's world exploded into a kaleidoscope of sensations. He felt his body dissolve, his mind expanding into a vast network of thoughts and memories. Human and Vidian consciousness swirled around him, a chaotic mix of individual personalities and collective knowledge. Within this mental landscape, Wayne struggled to maintain his sense of self. He could feel Zara's presence beside him, a beacon of familiarity in the chaos. Together, they navigated through the fragments of minds, some fighting for dominance, others seeking harmony. Outside, in the physical world, Major Hawkins watched in astonishment as Wayne, Zara, and Dr. Rodriguez were engulfed by Nexus. The entity's growth seemed to slow, its wild transformations becoming more deliberate. Hawkins turned to his remaining troops, many of whom were still reeling from the mental changes. "Secure the perimeter," he ordered, his military training kicking in despite the alien thoughts in his mind. "And someone get me a secure line to command. We need to report this immediately." As the soldiers scrambled to follow orders, reports began flooding in from around the globe. Vidian ships had crash-landed in major cities and remote areas alike. Governments worldwide were mobilizing to contain the situation, but the task was complicated by the mental changes affecting their own populations. In New York, a stock trader suddenly understood the economic systems of 1,000 worlds, his predictions causing market chaos. In a small village in India, a young girl began drawing schematics for advanced technologies she couldn't possibly have known. And in countless locations, humans and crash-landed Vidians alike grappled with their new hybrid consciousness. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, watching the events unfold from her neuroscience lab in Tokyo, immediately recognized the gravity of the situation. She initiated emergency protocols, calling together a global team of researchers to study and potentially control the unprecedented changes in human brain activity. As Earth grappled with its new reality, a new threat loomed in the depths of space. The Vidian High Command, detecting the loss of their invasion force and the fracturing of their hive mind, dispatched a more powerful fleet. Led by the ruthless Admiral Crix, this armada of immense ships began its journey towards Earth, intent on neutralizing the threat to their way of life. Back within Nexus, Wayne, Zara, and Dr. Rodriguez fought to navigate the chaotic mindscape. They encountered fractured personalities, some violent and confused, others curious and seeking understanding. Through it all, they struggled to find a way to stabilize the rapidly evolving entity and, by extension, the hybrid consciousness spreading across the globe. As they delved deeper into Nexus, they became aware of a new presence forming within the mental landscape. It was a faction of human minds that had more fully integrated with the Vidian consciousness. At its center was James Corvus, a charismatic figure whose mind had adapted quickly to the merger. Corvus's thoughts resonated through Nexus, advocating for embracing the changes, for pushing towards a new form of existence that combined the best of both species. His influence grew, attracting both human and Vedian fragments to his cause. Wayne realized with a start that the fate of humanity's individuality and the potential for a new form of existence now hung in the balance. As Earth prepared for the next phase of this cosmic encounter, he knew that the decisions made within Nexus would shape the future of two civilizations. The mental landscape shifted again, and Wayne found himself face to face with Corvus's mental projection. The man's eyes gleamed with an otherworldly intelligence as he spoke words that echoed through the very fabric of Nexus. "We stand at the threshold of a new era," Corvus's voice reverberated. "The approaching Vidayan fleet is not our enemy, but our future. Together, we can create something greater than either of our species ever dreamed possible." Wayne felt the pull of Corvus's vision, the allure of unlimited knowledge and power, but he also sensed the danger, the potential loss of what made humanity unique. As Nexus continued to grow and the hybrid consciousness spread across Earth, Wayne prepared himself for a battle of minds that would determine the course of human evolution. Evolution. As Wayne grappled with the weight of this realization, he felt a sudden surge of clarity. The chaotic swirl of minds within Nexus began to coalesce, responding to his focused willpower. Zara and Dr. Rodriguez, sensing the change, joined their mental efforts with his. Together, they pushed against the formless void, shaping it with their combined consciousness. Slowly, a structure began to form within the mental landscape. It resembled a vast control room with pulsing lines of energy connecting countless nodes of information. "We're doing it," Dr. Rodriguez's voice echoed through the mindscape. "We're creating an interface." Wayne marveled at the sight. "This could be our key to understanding and controlling Nexus," he said, his thoughts reverberating through the newly formed structure. As they explored the interface, they discovered they could access and influence various aspects of the hybrid entity. They could regulate the flow of information, stabilize volatile mental energies, and even communicate with individual consciousness fragments within Nexus. Outside in the physical world, Major Hawkins blinked rapidly, his mind racing with newfound knowledge and capabilities. He looked at his troops, many of whom were still disoriented from the mental changes. "Listen up," he barked, his voice cutting through the chaos. "We have an opportunity here. Those of you who can control these new abilities, step forward. We're forming a special task force." As soldiers and civilians alike gathered around him, Hawkins began outlining a plan. "We need to prepare for the Vidian fleet. They'll be coming, and we need to be ready." Meanwhile, in Tokyo, Dr. Yuki Tanaka hunched over her workbench, surrounded by a team of bleary-eyed researchers. Holographic displays flickered with brain scan data and complex algorithms. "There," she exclaimed, pointing to a particular neural pattern. "That's the key to suppressing the alien memories." Her team sprang into action, rapidly prototyping a device based on their findings. Within hours, they had a working model, a sleek headband that could temporarily dampen the flood of alien knowledge. As news of the device spread, governments worldwide clamored for the technology. Production facilities were hastily repurposed to manufacture the suppressors en masse. In a commune on the outskirts of San Francisco, James Corvus addressed a growing crowd of pro-integration humans and crash-landed Vidians. "We stand at the forefront of a new era," he proclaimed, his eyes gleaming with an otherworldly intelligence. "Here, we will push the boundaries of our hybrid consciousness, unlocking the full potential of our combined knowledge." The commune buzzed with activity as hybridized individuals collaborated on ambitious projects. In one corner, a team worked on advanced clean energy technology. In another, a group developed new medical treatments using a combination of human and Vidian biological understanding. Deep in space, Admiral Crix's fleet entered the outer reaches of the solar system. On the bridge of his flagship, Crix frowned as he received reports of erratic behavior among his crew. "Maintain formation," he ordered, his voice harsh. "Any sign of insubordination will be met with severe consequences." But even as he spoke, Crix felt a nagging doubt in his own mind. Flashes of unfamiliar memories, human memories, threatened to disrupt his focus. Back on Earth, the hastily formed Earth Defense Council convened in an underground bunker. Representatives from nations worldwide gathered around a holographic display of the solar system, watching the approach of the Vidayan fleet with growing concern. We need to accelerate our defense preparations, insisted the Chinese delegate. Dr. Tanaka's suppressor device has helped stabilize the situation, but we need more. The American representative nodded in agreement. We've got teams working on reverse engineering the Vidayan ship technology. We've made significant progress on a planetary defense shield. As the council debated strategy, a team of engineers and scientists worked tirelessly in a repurposed aircraft hangar. The prototype defense shield generator hummed with power, its design a unique blend of human ingenuity and Vidayan technical knowledge. Dr. Marcus Evans, his mind enhanced by the hybrid consciousness, scribbled complex equations on a transparent board. We're close to a breakthrough on the FTL drive, he muttered to his team. If we can crack this, we'll have a chance against the Vidayan fleet. Within Nexus, Wayne, Zara, and Dr. Rodriguez made a startling discovery. As they delved deeper into the vast repository of Vidayan knowledge, they uncovered information about a group called the Solarians. They're a Vidayan splinter group, Zara explained, her thoughts flowing through the interface. They rejected the Hivemind centuries ago, choosing individuality over collective consciousness. Wayne's mind raced with the implications. If we could contact them, they might be willing to help us against Admiral Crix's fleet. Dr. Rodriguez focused her thoughts, sifting through the information. According to this, the Solarians developed their own unique culture and technology. They've been hiding from the main Vidayan civilization for generations. As they worked to locate the Solarians, Earth continued its frantic preparations. Cities around the world were retrofitted with shield generators, while militaries trained to operate reverse-engineered Vidayan weapons. The hybrid consciousness, now spreading at a more controlled rate thanks to Dr. Tanaka's device, led to rapid advancements in various fields. Education systems were overhauled overnight, with new curricula developed to help individuals harness their enhanced cognitive abilities. In orbit, a network of early warning satellites detected the Vidayan fleet's approach. As the alert sounded across the planet, humanity held its collective breath. Admiral Crix's fleet entered the inner solar system, but their once coordinated movements had become erratic. Crix himself struggled to maintain control, his own thoughts increasingly fragmented. On Earth, Wayne and his team raced against time within Nexus, searching for a way to contact the Solarians. As the Vidayan fleet drew ever closer, the fate of two civilizations hung in the balance, with the nascent hybrid consciousness caught in between. The interface within Nexus pulsed with energy as Wayne, Zara, and Dr. Rodriguez pushed their mental abilities to the limit. They knew that finding the Solarians could be the key to humanity's survival, but time was running out. Short, they had to find a way to reach the Solarians before it was too late. Suddenly, a surge of energy pulsed through the interface. Wayne felt his consciousness expand, connecting with vast networks of information. In that moment, he sensed a faint signal, a whisper from the depths of space. "I've got something," he communicated to Zara and Dr. Rodriguez. "A signal. I think it's them." Together, they focused their mental efforts, amplifying the signal through Nexus. As they honed in on its source, a voice materialized in their shared mindscape. "This is Chancellor Lyra of the Solarian Enclave," the voice echoed. "We receive your transmission. Identify yourselves." Wayne stepped forward mentally. "I am Wayne, representing Earth. We seek your aid against the Vidayan invasion force." As Wayne explained their situation, Dr. Rodriguez worked to establish a more stable connection. Outside Nexus, in the physical world, chaos erupted. The sky above major cities shimmered as the prototype planetary shield activated. Streams of energy coalesced, forming a visible barrier that stretched across the horizon. In military command centers worldwide, officers watched with a mix of awe and anticipation as the shield powered up. General Chen of the Chinese military turned to his American counterpart. Shield integrity at 85% and holding. Let's hope it's enough. As if in response to the shield's activation, the Vidian fleet entered the inner solar system. Admiral Crix's flagship led the formation, its massive silhouette casting a shadow over Earth's moon. Crix stood on the bridge, his mandibles twitching with irritation. Flashes of human memories, laughter, sunsets, the taste of coffee invaded his thoughts. He shook his head, trying to clear it. "Target Earth's satellite," he ordered, his voice harsh. "Show them the consequences of resistance." Energy built up in the flagship's main cannon, then released in a blinding stream. The blast struck the moon's surface, gouging a massive crater. Chunks of lunar rock exploded outward, creating a deadly field of debris. On Earth, millions watched in horror as the moon's familiar face was scarred. In orbit, space stations and satellites scrambled to avoid the spreading cloud of lunar fragments. The attack galvanized Earth's defenders. In launching bays around the globe, pilots scrambled to their fighters, a mix of conventional aircraft and reverse-engineered Vidian ships. Major John Hawkins climbed into the cockpit of his hybrid fighter. As he engaged the systems, his mind merged with the ship's AI, enhancing his reflexes and spatial awareness. "All wings, report in," he commanded over the comms. A chorus of affirmatives followed as his squadron prepared for launch. In the skies above, the battle began. Earth's defenders met the Vidian attackers in a furious clash of energy weapons and missiles. The planetary shield absorbed the brunt of the initial assault, but alarms blared as multiple points reported strain under the bombardment. Meanwhile, in a secret facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Marcus Evans and his team worked feverishly on the FTL drive prototype. Holographic displays flickered with equations and simulations as they fine-tuned the system. "Power flow stable," one of the engineers reported, "quantum field alignment at 99.7%. Dr. Evans nodded, his eyes never leaving the central display. "Begin final integration sequence. We need to get the quantum leap space-worthy now." As the scientists raced against time, James Corvus led his faction to a cluster of crashed Vidian ships in the Mojave Desert. Their minds, enhanced by the hybrid consciousness, interfaced seamlessly with the alien technology. Corvus placed his hand on the ship's control panel, feeling the surge of power as systems came online. "Prepare for launch," he commanded his followers. "We join our brothers and sisters in orbit." The hybrid-controlled Vidian ships rose from the desert floor, their engines glowing with unearthly light. They streaked into the sky, quickly joining the fray above. In Tokyo, Dr. Yuki Tanaka's lab was a hive of activity. Technicians rushed to assemble more of the consciousness-suppressing headbands, while Tanaka herself focused on her latest breakthrough. "Cognitive enhancer online," she announced, holding up a sleek injector. "Warning, side effects unknown. Use at own risk." A group of Special Forces soldiers stepped forward, volunteering for the experimental treatment. As the enhancer took effect, their eyes gleamed with heightened awareness. Captain Sarah Evans, leader of the newly formed hypercognitive squad, flexed her fingers as new sensations flooded her nervous system. "Time to level the playing field," she said, her voice steady despite the rush of enhanced cognition. Within Nexus, Wayne, Zara, and Dr. Rodriguez continued their communication with the Solarians. Chancellor Lyra's mental projection appeared before them, her form shimmering with ethereal light. "We have monitored your species' progress," Lyra said. "Your resistance against assimilation is unprecedented. We will aid you." As the Solarian fleet began its journey to Earth, the space battle intensified. Admiral Crix, feeling his control slipping, made a desperate decision. "Prepare the planet cracker," he snarled to his increasingly unreliable crew. "If we cannot have Earth, no one will." The massive weapon began to charge, its energy signature setting off alarms across Earth's defense network. The hypercognitive squad, led by Captain Evans, launched their desperate mission to infiltrate Crix's flagship. As multiple fronts of the conflict converged, Wayne faced a monumental decision within Nexus. The entity had grown beyond their initial expectations, its tendrils reaching into Earth's systems and the minds of millions. And we need to merge fully with Nexus, Wayne realized, the implication sending a shudder through his consciousness. It's the only way to coordinate our defense and unlock its full potential. Zara and Dr. Rodriguez shared a moment of hesitation. The risk was enormous. They could lose themselves entirely, and with them, perhaps the last barrier between humanity and complete assimilation. But as the battle raged and Earth's fate hung in the balance, they knew they had no choice. Together, they prepared to take the final plunge into Nexus, aware that their decision would shape the future of two civilizations. The Quantum Leap, now fully assembled, stood ready in its launch bay. Major Hawkins and his crew boarded the sleek vessel, humanity's first FTL-capable ship. As they strapped in, Hawkins took a deep breath. "All systems go," he reported, initiating FTL drive. The ship hummed with power as the drive spooled up. In a flash of light, the Quantum Leap vanished, embarking on its historic journey to rendezvous with the Solarian fleet. As Earth's defenders fought valiantly against the Vidian onslaught, the Planet Cracker weapon neared full charge. Captain Evans and her hypercognitive squad fought their way through the flagship's corridors, racing against time to prevent Earth's destruction. The fate of humanity, the Vidians, and the very nature of consciousness itself converged on this moment. As Wayne prepared to merge with Nexus, as the Quantum Leap hurtled through space, and as battles raged in the skies and aboard the Vidian flagship, the future remained uncertain, balanced on a knife's edge. Wayne, Zara, and Dr. Rodriguez exchanged a final glance before plunging their consciousnesses fully into Nexus. The interface pulsed with blinding light as their minds merged with the vast network. A surge of energy rippled outward, cascading through Earth's digital infrastructure. In orbit, Major Hawkins witnessed the effect firsthand. His fighter's systems suddenly came alive with newfound efficiency. "Control, are you seeing this?" he radioed. "Our targeting systems just got a massive upgrade." The planetary shield shimmered, its strength multiplying exponentially. Vidian energy blasts that had been straining the barrier now dissipated harmlessly against its surface. On the ground, technicians stared in awe as their consoles lit up with streams of complex data. Dr. Marcus Evans, monitoring the shield generator, felt a jolt of excitement. "Power output has tripled," he announced to his team. "And look at these algorithms. They're rewriting themselves in real time." In space, Earth's automated defense satellites reconfigured their weapons arrays. A barrage of precisely targeted energy beams lanced out, striking Vidian ships with surgical precision. Hulls buckled and engines failed as the beams found critical weak points. Aboard Admiral Crix's flagship, Captain Sarah Evans and her hypercognitive squad fought their way through waves of loyal Vidian soldiers. The enhanced humans moved with preternatural speed and coordination, their augmented minds processing combat data at incredible rates. Sarah ducked under a Vidian energy blade, her enhanced reflexes allowing her to counterattack before her opponent could recover. "Push forward," she shouted to her team. "We're almost at the weapon control room." As they battled through the alien corridors, the ship shuddered violently. In the void of space outside, chaos erupted among the Vidian fleet. Commander Vex, his mind now free from the collective, turned his weapons on Crix's loyalist ships. "All individualized vessels target the flagship's propulsion systems," Vex ordered. "We end this madness now." James Corvus, piloting his hybrid-controlled Vidian ship, led his squadron in a daring assault on one of Crix's capital ships. "Exploit the gaps in their shields," he communicated directly to his pilots' minds. "Our weapons are calibrated to their exact frequency." Energy bolts from Corvus's squadron pierced the capital ship's defenses, disabling its main weapons array. Earth fighters swarmed into the breach, unleashing a torrent of missiles that broke the massive vessel apart. At the edge of the solar system, the Quantum Leap erupted from faster-than-light travel. Major Hawkins steadied himself as the ship's systems recalibrated. Before them loomed the impressive sight of the Solarian fleet. Chancellor Lyra's holographic form appeared on the bridge. "Impressive," she said, eyeing the quantum leap. "Your species has advanced rapidly. We will honor our agreement. Prepare for immediate jump to Earth." In a flash of light, the Solarian fleet with the quantum leap in tow materialized in Earth's orbit. Their sleek, advanced ships immediately engaged Crix's forces, their weapons cutting through Vidian shields like paper. Back on the flagship, Captain Evans and her squad burst into the weapon control room. Crix's elite guards met them with a hail of energy fire. Sarah vaulted over a control panel, her mind calculating trajectories and weak points in milliseconds. She landed behind a Vidian officer, disarming him with a swift strike and using his weapon to stun 2 more guards. As her team neutralized the remaining defenders, Sarah reached the main control panel. Her enhanced mind interfaced with the alien technology, quickly deciphering its operations. Just as she prepared to deactivate the planet cracker, the panel went dark. "What just happened?" one of her squad members asked. Sarah's eyes widened as she realized the implication. "Nexus," she breathed. "It's in control now." Throughout the Vidian fleet, ships suddenly found their systems shutting down or turning against them. Weapons powered down, shields failed, and engines sputtered to a halt. On the flagship's bridge, Admiral Crix watched in horror as his controls became unresponsive. "What is this?" he snarled, mandibles clicking furiously. "Restore power immediately." But his crew could only watch helplessly as their ship, along with the entire fleet, fell under the control of the Nexus entity. Crix, realizing the battle was lost, attempted to activate the self-destruct sequence. To his shock and fury, even this final option was denied to him. On Earth, the effects of the Nexus merger spread rapidly. Hybrid humans found their minds flooded with new knowledge and capabilities. In laboratories and research centers across the globe, scientists and engineers experienced unprecedented breakthroughs. Dr. Yuki Tanaka gasped as solutions to complex neuroengineering problems suddenly became clear. "It's incredible," she said to her team. "I can see the pathways we missed before. Quick, help me document this." Similar scenes played out worldwide. The prototype faster-than-light drive was refined and replicated within hours. Plans for advanced energy systems, medical treatments, and space exploration technologies materialized in the minds of researchers. As the space battle concluded with the complete surrender of Crix's forces, the Solarian fleet took up positions around Earth. Chancellor Lyra opened communications with Earth's leaders, her expression a mixture of awe and concern. "You have achieved a great victory," she said, "but at what cost? The power you now wield is beyond anything we've encountered. We must discuss the implications." Major Hawkins, returning to Earth aboard the Quantum Leap, shared Lyra's concerns. As he stepped off the ship, he was struck by the changed atmosphere. Hybrid humans moved with newfound purpose, their eyes gleaming with the light of expanded consciousness. "Sir," he reported to his superior, "I'm worried about what I'm seeing. These hybrids, they're changing, their thoughts, their priorities. They're becoming something different." The general nodded gravely. "We're seeing it everywhere. This Nexus entity, it's advancing our technology at an incredible rate, but at what cost to our humanity?" As Earth celebrated its victory, a new tension began to simmer. Baseline humans watched with a mixture of awe and unease as their hybrid counterparts displayed abilities and knowledge far beyond normal human capacity. The hybrids, connected through the vast network of Nexus, found themselves drifting further from their original human experiences. Chancellor Lyra, recognizing the potential for conflict, proposed a summit. "We must find balance," she urged Earth's leaders, "between progress and identity, between the collective and the individual. The future of your species hangs in the balance." As preparations for the summit began, the hybrid population continued to evolve. Their collective consciousness, guided by the merged minds of Wayne, Zara, and Dr. Rodriguez, grappled with its new reality. The power to reshape their world was at their fingertips, but the essence of what made them human seemed to slip further away with each passing moment. Earth stood at a crossroads, facing a future filled with both incredible promise and existential uncertainty. The victory over the Vidians had been won, but the battle for humanity's soul was just beginning. The dawn of a new era arrived with the construction of the orbital nexus, a gleaming space station that hung in low Earth orbit like a beacon of progress. Its sleek, curved architecture blended human and alien design sensibilities, a fitting venue for the summit that would shape humanity's future. As shuttles from Earth, Solarian vessels and hybrid-controlled ships docked with the station, tension crackled through the recycled air. Major Hawkins stood at a viewport, watching the swirling blue-green sphere of Earth below. His mind focused as he observed a group of hybrids moving with uncanny coordination, their eyes flickering with data streams. Quite a sight, isn't it? James Corvus appeared beside him, his own gaze fixed on the planet. Hawkins grunted. If you mean watching humanity slip away, then yes. Corvus shook his head. You're looking at it all wrong, Major. We're not losing our humanity, we're expanding it. Before Hawkins could retort, a chime signaled the start of the summit. They made their way to the Grand Assembly Hall, where representatives from every faction had gathered. Chancellor Lyra stood at the center, her bioluminescent skin casting a soft glow over the proceedings. We are gathered here, Lyra began, her voice resonating through the chamber, to address the most pressing question of our time: how to balance the incredible advancements brought by the Nexus entity with the preservation of human identity. The debate that followed was fierce. Major Hawkins stepped up to the podium, his voice sharp with conviction. We cannot allow unchecked integration with this alien consciousness. The risk to individual autonomy is too great. We need strict controls, clear boundaries. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd, particularly from the unmodified human contingent, but James Corvus was quick to counter. Major Hawkins speaks from fear, not understanding. Corvus argued, his eyes gleaming with the light of hybrid enhancement. The Nexus has already revolutionized our society. Our scientific progress, our ability to defend ourselves, all of it stems from this integration. We should embrace it fully, not shy away from our potential. The assembly erupted into heated discussions. Earth's political leaders shifted uncomfortably, caught between the two extremes. Chancellor Lyra watched with growing concern, her hopes for a peaceful resolution fading. Suddenly the lights in the chamber dimmed. A massive holographic projection materialized in the center of the room, drawing gasps from the assembled delegates. The shimmering forms of Wayne, Zara, and Dr. Rodriguez stood before them, their bodies coursing with streams of data. Wayne stepped forward, his voice echoing with an otherworldly resonance. We have heard your concerns, and we understand them. Through our deep integration with Nexus, we've discovered a solution that can satisfy all parties. Dr. Rodriguez continued, her holographic form gesturing expansively. Nexus has evolved beyond our initial expectations. It's become a cosmic library, a repository of knowledge from across the universe. Zara nodded, adding, but more than that, we've found a way to access this knowledge without sacrificing individual identity. Observe. The trio's forms shifted, the data streams receding, their eyes cleared, and their postures relaxed. When Wayne spoke again, his voice was entirely his own. We can step in and out of the collective at will, maintaining our sense of self while benefiting from the shared knowledge. The assembly watched in awe as the three demonstrated their ability to access vast stores of information, solve complex problems, and then return to their individual states. The implications were staggering. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, who had been listening intently, suddenly stood. I think I understand, she said, her voice trembling with excitement. What if we could create an interface, a neural link that allows individuals to connect to Nexus voluntarily? We could access its power without losing ourselves. The idea sent a ripple of excitement through the chamber. Even Major Hawkins looked intrigued. Chancellor Lyra stepped forward, her expression thoughtful. This could be the balance we've been seeking, she said, a way to advance without sacrificing what makes you uniquely human. Over the next several hours, the summit hammered out the details of this new approach. The neural interface, dubbed the Nexus Link, would be developed and distributed globally. It would allow humans to tap into the collective knowledge at will while maintaining the ability to disconnect and preserve their individual experiences. As the summit concluded, a sense of hope and possibility filled the orbital nexus. The delegates dispersed, eager to begin implementing the new technology and policies that would shape Earth's future. In the months that followed, Earth underwent a remarkable transformation. Research teams, augmented by the Nexus Link, made breakthrough after breakthrough. Cities were redesigned with newfound efficiency. Clean energy solutions eliminated pollution, and medical advancements extended human lifespans. Major Hawkins stood in line at a Nexus Link distribution center, his heart racing as he approached the front. He had resisted for weeks, but curiosity and the need to understand had finally won out. As the technician guided him through the painless procedure, Hawkins felt a moment of panic. Then the link activated. Information flooded his mind, but not in the overwhelming torrent he had feared. Instead, it was like opening a book, accessing knowledge as he needed it. He found himself understanding Vidayan culture, grasping advanced physics, and comprehending the intricacies of interstellar diplomacy. Across the globe, similar scenes played out. The distinction between hybrid and baseline humans blurred, then vanished altogether. Humanity stood united, individual minds linked by choice to a vast network of shared knowledge and experience. James Corvus led the first team to Mars, their Nexus-enhanced minds allowing them to tackle the challenges of terraforming with unprecedented speed and creativity. As he watched the first Martian sunset, Corvus felt a profound sense of accomplishment, not just his own, but humanity's. In a secure facility, Admiral Crix underwent a transformation of his own. Exposed to the concept of individuality through carefully controlled Nexus Link sessions, the former Vidian leader began to develop a sense of self. His insights into collective consciousness proved invaluable as humanity refined its new technologies. Chancellor Lyra watched these developments with a mixture of awe and pride. The Solarian fleet had taken up a peaceful orbit around Earth, no longer needed for protection, but instead serving as a bridge between cultures. Together, they laid the groundwork for the Galactic Concord, a federation dedicated to peaceful exploration and mutual understanding. As Earth's first true faster-than-light ship, the Unity, neared completion, Wayne, Zara, and Dr. Rodriguez made their long-awaited return to physical form. They emerged from the Nexus entity, their minds forever changed but their individual selves intact. Tearful reunions with family and friends followed, as did debriefings with Earth's leaders. The trio shared their experiences, their knowledge, and their vision for humanity's future among the stars. The day of the Unity's launch arrived, the culmination of humanity's great leap forward. The ship's crew, a diverse mix of humans, former Vidians, and Solarian observers, boarded with a sense of excitement and purpose. Wayne, Zara, and Dr. Rodriguez took their places on the bridge, ready to serve as guides and interpreters for humanity's first steps into the wider galaxy. As the Unity prepared to depart, Major Hawkins watched from the orbital Nexus Control Center. His Nexus Link hummed with information, but his thoughts were his own as he reflected on the journey that had brought them to this point. The Unity's engines flared to life, pushing against the very fabric of space-time. In a flash of light, the ship vanished, carrying humanity's hopes and dreams to the stars. But this was just the beginning. Earth, once so isolated, now stood at the threshold of a vast, interconnected cosmos. The future stretched out before them, filled with endless possibilities.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.